Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. I have a random comment. I realized that I'm really not in like half of the intro video. Like I missed one podcast, and that was the one that you decided to use to showcase Janessa and Terry, and I'm just not in it. I just want to say that to the people. Okay.
Well, the people know now.
And welcome back.
The people know how narcissistic Kellie is.
And
she's like, I'm not in this video.
And welcome back.
I was thinking, like, I'm in it too much. You need to take me and my big nose and my bright eyes out. Yeah. No, it's a good scene.
Terry's is my favorite one. Like, right. That's my favorite part of the entire video is Terry's eyes.
That was literally the point I had.
Well, that's
said.
when, yeah.
That's what I said. It's not like Jesus had a heart on, and that was literally the place he made.
Yeah.
Nonetheless,
wide-eyed moment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Worst Ones podcast.
The worst one's already acting up.
Already complaining. Can't even get the welcome. My name is Rudy Wilson. I'm one of your hosts. We got Kellie Lee, Terry Wayne, Janessa, Rowland in the building. We are all PKs. We are all terrible. All right. Now that we got that out the way. We've had a little struggle today, guys, with our topic at hand. So many things to talk about. So many things. We do have the Lil Nas X issue that is blowing up the media as far as him making devil-themed shoes and devil-themed music videos and so on and so forth. Terry Wayne gave us his explanation on that, and he has made us realize it is a waste of time to talk about.
Waste of time.
So we are going to move on to something that is even more important than Lil Nas X and his shoes and his twerking video, and that is the question of if Jesus himself had a girlfriend.
Not a girlfriend, a wife. I keep saying that.
Well, he had a girlfriend before he was
still is.
They didn't have girlfriends back then.
He
you
didn't
got married, or
you just got married.
Oh, yeah, you just got married. If you
were lucky, Jesus sound like
you got married, and you weren't married off to somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, you got to remember, back in those days, your father had the right to say, you know what? Take my daughter in exchange for 3 cows. You know, like
that doesn't mean you don't go through the girlfriend stage first. You know what I'm saying? It could be a
absolutely do not go through the girlfriend stage.
Yeah, man. You may get 1 cow at a time. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Let's see how this works. Let's get together after 6 months. I'll drop off another cow.
Back then, usually the 2 fathers of the 2 families would get together. They would meet. They would agree on something or disagree on something, but eventually a compromise was made, and then they set a date for the wedding, and you were married. That's it. That's how it worked. It still works that way today in some rural parts of India.
So did Mary Joseph God get something from him marrying Mary Magdalene?
No, it didn't always happen like that. You didn't always have a dowry, which is what that was called, but it didn't always happen like that. But yeah, you didn't have a girlfriend. You saw somebody you wanted to marry, and you married them. That was
let's backtrack for a second. Because everybody didn't necessarily hear our full context.
You were only going to live till 25. You ain't got time for all that.
Everybody didn't hear our full context as far as the conversation before we started recording. So, Terry, I will let you give your information in reference to Jesus and Mary Magdalene's holy matrimony. But before that, I do want to, acknowledge to you guys that with this question of did Jesus have a girlfriend, we can also expand that to how human, just say you thought Jesus was. Like, yeah, he was, God's son in man's body, but like, we only hear about just what he was doing. He was sticking and moving, healing this person, preaching here, whatever like that. But in between all that time, you know what I'm saying, did Jesus, eat too much Twinkies and get a stomach ache in the middle of the night before? You know what I'm saying? Did he Did Jesus
we talked about this once before, but
did
yeah,
Jesus have to fight off women in high school? You know what I'm saying? Or when he was teaching in the temple?
there's a large chunk of Jesus's life that is not recorded. You know, first he
I
was
would like to think that Jesus was attractive.
first he was a child, and the next thing you know, boom, he's in his 30s, and
Yep.
you know, there's a big chunk of his life that's missing there.
So let's fill it in. All right. So we're so
We gonna make
yeah,
it up on
we'll
along
figure
the
it
way.
out.
We gonna make it up along the way.
It's
The
been
gospel
mystery for
according to the
thousands
worst
of
one.
years, but we'll get it on this podcast.
the gospel
Yeah.
according to the worst one. This is our book. All right.
So I think that Jesus was an attractive young man. Yes, he was fighting off the ladies.
Careful.
They saw something. They saw something in him that was just different from everybody else. That's just my thought. That's it for now.
When you say you thought Jesus was fighting off the ladies, when you say fighting off, meaning because they were coming at him, not so much he was struggling.
Well, yeah, of course. You don't fight off the
Well,
ladies
Terry,
if you're
Terry,
chasing them.
let Kelly finish her thought. I want to hear it come from her because I'm curious to see how she thinks about this. She's the one who thinks Jesus was a dime, apparently. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus was entree.
He could
Listen,
he could have been ugly, just powerful. You know what I'm saying?
he was respected, he was revered, he was a powerful man that everyone listened to. Of course there were women into him.
Right.
Of course.
It makes you attractive. That's the same thing with these pastors now. I think we've already talked about that.
Yeah.
That it's power that
So how can we be so of course about this when it comes down to certain human things? But when I say, oh, well, what if Jesus could do this? And it's like, oh no, Jesus is different. He could never be like that. But he could be normal in these other situations. But when I bring him something, it's absurd. I'm confused on how
we talked about this before when we talked about morning wood and diarrhea and all that jazz. Because Jesus he was the physical manifestation of God. He's God in human form. But he was in human form, and he had to be in human form so that he could die. But that brings with it a lot of other biological things that come with it, with being human. So yeah, I mean, I think he had certain things that were just like everybody else, every other person.
So I got an even better question. This is for all of y'all. So according to what Terry said, was Jesus in human form or was he a human?
No, Jesus is God in human form.
I understand that, but was he a human? Because I feel like that's different. Being in human form.
He is human. He's the human manifestation of God.
Listen. If I am just say a alien in a movie, right? And I enter into a human's body, I'm not a human. I'm just in a human form.
No,
you see what I'm saying? But
that
person whose body I am is a human.
Yes, I get it, but that ain't the same thing.
Jesus was human.
No,
well,
I'm asking. I'm asking. So you're saying that it's not the same thing, but I'm asking. So now, would it come down to Jesus? Was he in human form, or was he a human?
No, he was a human. He was God in human form.
You're saying two different things, though.
Okay, listen. So basically, the way it goes scripturally is that God basically impregnated, without knowing the touch of a man, God impregnated Mary with himself so that he could be born as a human being so that he could die for the sins of all man.
I understand that. I understand.
What are you talking about?
I understand he needed flesh.
He wasn't wearing a human suit. He was a person.
He was a human.
Yes, but his spirit was the spirit of God. The same way you have a spirit and you have a physical body.
Right, but just like we also talked about with the sins, we don't have a choice to sin because we are human. And what I'm saying is, if he's human, then he would fall in that same category. But if he was just the spirit of God in a human body,
no,
then that's different. That's the whole point.
Your soul is born with sin, not your human physical form. It's your soul that's on the inside. So Jesus was a physical man who had the soul of God. He had that's the Holy Trinity: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. He was the Son portion of that, but all three of those things are considered to be God. The same way that water can be gas.
I'm aware.
the same way that water can be gas, a solid, or a liquid, but it's always water. That's God in those three.
Yeah, but see, that's not necessarily true, because if water becomes a gas,
right,
then it's no longer water. It's now
it's still water.
It's now a gas. It's no, I'm saying because it started in water form, and if you freeze it, it can become a solid. If you mystify it or whatever, humidify it, it can become. But it's no longer water. You can't drink a gas.
This portion of it is not an argument. This is scriptural fact.
Where's the scripture?
That God is the Holy Trinity.
Like God is a human and not human.
He was human in the form of the Son, but he is also the Father and the Holy Spirit. Okay, so Janessa and Kellie, y'all can answer this question, but so that I told you about water was an analogy.
I'm clear. So what I'm saying about the question as far as the two, for us to say that Jesus was in this human body or he was human or whatever, that then, even with this question about him having a girlfriend, that's making us look at him as human. So did he have human traits? Did he have human weaknesses? Did he have human allergies? Did he have, he lost his hairline before he was 30? You know what I'm saying? Receiving hairline. Did he deal with stuff like that because he was literally a human? Or did Jesus just say, hey, take this body real quick because I need you to do something? You know what I'm saying? I mean, God said, take this body real quick and I need you to do something as like in human form, but he wasn't necessarily equivalent to us being human, is the question.
I'm about to blow your mind, but I'm gonna let the ladies go first.
Well, my answer is quick. I believe that Jesus was in human form like we are. I don't think,
Yeah, obviously, he had to be.
Right. Yeah, like I don't think that he, like your point earlier, that he borrowed somebody's body.
No, I'm not saying borrow. We're all borrowing a body. The point I'm making is that's what when I say human.
When you say human form, like when I say borrow,
he wasn't an alien in a human.
Right, it's not an alien that says, "Hey, I'm going to," like you see in the movies or the cartoons. I'm a ghost and I'm gonna get this body for a second. Like Jesus was Jesus in his own human body form. So with that, do I think that he then experienced, like you said, a receding hairline? Did he have to, go number 2? Did he have to,
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. But so on top of that, Kellie, I guess further in my question that I want you to answer, when it comes down to Jesus coming to earth just like the rest of us did. You said he's human just like us. When all of us were born, we weren't even aware of what a human was, none of that stuff.
You're almost there, Rudy.
Until we got old enough to become, knowledgeable that, oh, I'm a human. Oh, this is air. Oh, this is grass. Oh, this is food. Oh, I ate peanuts. I'm allergic to it. Like we find out. But Jesus, to my knowledge, I mean, he almost came in grown. You know what I'm saying? Like he got sent to earth with the knowledge that he was going to have to do, what his life just entailed. We didn't have that prior knowledge, which is why I guess I'm trying to paint the pictures of, is there a difference because of the fact that being that he came with a specific assignment? Yes, that's not an alien jumping into a body, but to me, that's still a different entrance than how we per se entered. You feel what I'm saying?
I wanted to let Janessa go. I wanted the ladies to go, but now I got to jump on what you said.
Let her go. Let her know. Let Janessa go.
All right. Because you're scratching on the right idea. You just ain't there yet.
I'm presenting a question. I'm not stating any facts. I'm just trying to get y'all to talk.
All right.
So first, for our 500 viewers, just please forgive me today, y'all. Doing my hair right now, it's real ratchet, but
most of them are just listening, so it doesn't.
Yeah. So if you're watching, I'm sorry, I just don't have the time. But anywho, for today's question, I don't know. You can tell me what I'm thinking. I just kind of think about the scripture before he died and how he had like a moment of like real humanness where he was like, if I don't have to do this, if there's another way, like, let me know.
See, right there.
Yep. So if that is human, versus human.
Come on, you're right there. You're scratching on
or
it,
whatever it is. That's what I think about is like what makes him human is like he had, even though he knew all what he knew and had the power to do all these miracles and made the ultimate sacrifice to save our sins, he still, while being very much so the Son of God, was also very much so human. So whatever that is in y'all's debate.
Oh, I am chomping at the bit. Oh, please tell me it's my turn. I am chomping at the bit here.
And Terry Wayne, go.
Okay. First of all, when you want to really learn about this stuff, you can't just go off the New King James Bible. You have to go back to Catholicism too, because that was the first Christ-based religion. All other Christ-based religions are based off Catholicism. So, to Rudy's question, first of all, and to Kellie's statement as well, Jesus wasn't born knowing that he was God. He was born and he was just an exceptional child. He was knowledgeable. He was faithful. He was this. He didn't know that he was God's son. I
didn't know this is what you were chopping at. Okay.
No, according to Catholicism, he didn't know that he was God's son, and he had to be told by an angel called Metatron. The Metatron is the voice that speaks to human beings for God, because we can't take the sound of his voice. So if you mix that with the huge gap in the life of Jesus, meaning from a child and then into his 30s, when you mix that, it's like, again, he was born a human man. He died a human man. And so everything that comes with being human, he had to go through. And that was to Janessa's point, I believe. Was it Janessa that said it when he died with doubt?
Right.
Because remember, while he was on the cross, what did he say? Father, why have you forsaken me? Even though he was God in human form, he still cried out, God, why have you forsaken me? Because even at that point, he knew he was a messenger of God, but he didn't know that he was actually God himself in human form. That's the best example I'm not saying I know the answer, because it's an answer that people have been plaguing over for thousands of years. But if you take all the evidence and combine from Christianity, the Bible, Catholicism, even parts of the Quran, you can mix in with this. The question has always been of whether Jesus was divine or not, whether he was actually God's son or not. The question of whether he existed is not ever, that's never really been.
Nobody on this podcast is questioning whether he existed.
Right.
My whole point, because see, the reason why I'm even bringing up this whole and I'm glad all y'all gave the responses y'all did. No, he's human. He goes what I will go through, blah, blah, blah. So now I go back to my original question. So why is it so absurd when I ask the question, could Jesus get a hard on? That's my whole point. Wait. But when he went through all this on the cross moment, and he was doing all this, Father, why you forsake me, blah, 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 blah. Cool. All that's true. You're 100% accurate. I'm with you. Yeah. So why is it so absurd to think that
it's not absurd?
Your face is the image on the intro that shows it's absurd, because you were like, whoa, why would you say something like that?
I thought like it was a very brazen question. We were still new to this podcast.
I'm saying.
It was a very shocking question. But yes, Jesus had indigestion and diarrhea and morning wood and everything that came with being human, everything that comes with it. He was just a perfect human.
Yeah, I'm gonna say everything that comes with it, that's not sin, because he didn't sin.
Yes. But Jesus could have had a wife and not been in sin. The Bible specifically says that you can have a wife and not live in sin.
So did Jesus have sex?
If he had a wife, probably, yeah. Because there's lots of scriptures in the Bible about how to treat your wife. A man should cherish his wife.
Yeah, but he compared it to how Christ loved the church. He didn't say how he loved Mary Magdalene.
Well, not in the text. We talked about this before. Not in the text that we know. But again, there's a huge gap in there, and there's a lot of people that believe.
But I'm saying, okay, but as of right now, we don't have the text for the gap. Like to
Right.
say that there's a lot missing and stuff like that. You can't even put that in concrete, because if it's missing, how do you know something's missing if it's missing? You know what I'm saying? Or if you never at least seen it.
Because he went from a child to being in his 30s.
You went from like 12 to 30, right? So
But what I'm saying is, but you don't, to say that in that time there was text that he was married to somebody and whatever.
No,
like that.
there's not. I wasn't saying that. I was saying that there is a widely held belief. I'm not saying I believe it, but I am aware of it. I'm aware that there's a widely held belief that Mary Magdalene was married to Jesus, and then the Catholic Church smeared her by calling her a prostitute, basically to preserve Jesus's divinity. Because if he had a wife or if he had children, then that would make him seem less divine. It was a better story if he was single his whole life. It was a better story if he never had children, if he was just devoted to God his whole life. That was a better story, and that's confirmed by the letters.
You saying Jesus had a PR?
Hang on, that's confirmed by the letters. Hang on, that's confirmed.
I'm not talking.
That's confirmed by the letters to Corinthians, who said, if a man cannot hold the fire in his loins, it is better for him to be married. It also says it's better for a man to be alone, but if he can't hold the fire in his loins, then he should take a wife, as opposed to let the fire consume him. That's directly from the letters of Corinthians. So if you have the leader of this religion and he gets married, what does that mean? It means he can't control the fire of his loins, which takes away from his divinity.
So Jesus had a PR, is what you're saying. He was like, "Yo, we got to clean this up because
no,
we don't want the image to look less divine because you got a weak point." Okay,
Jesus
so this
ascended to heaven when
so
this happened at the Council of Nicaea.
This brings me to something that Terry said earlier. This is a question for Janessa and Kellie. Kellie, I hope you can hear me. Terry mentioned that he said that he believes that Jesus did not know that he was God when he came to earth, and he basically was an exceptional child and all these different things. So, which correct me if I'm wrong, Terry, I guess goes to say that when he wasn't sinning and all these different things, like he didn't know he wouldn't sin. He just happened to not do it because of just who he was, and he found out who he was.
Well, because he had a perfect spirit.
Gotcha.
He had a perfect soul.
Gotcha. So my question for Janessa and Kellie is, do y'all believe the same thing? Or do you believe that, Jesus knew his assignment before coming to earth and just came to fulfill it?
This is one of those things you're gonna have to ask God when you meet him. But I guess I would like to think he knew. Did he come out the birth canal with knowledge? Like, yes.
Really?
Do X, Y, and Z? Maybe. I don't know.
Well, then why would he say, "Why have you forsaken me" on the cross? If he knew his purpose going in, why would he say, "Why have you forsaken me"?
Because he didn't want to, I guess I agree. I feel like he knew his purpose in human form. He didn't, or as a human, he didn't necessarily want to go through what he needed to go through to fulfill his purpose. Mm-hmm. Which, like Janessa said earlier, I think is a very human thing. But also somewhere in that story is when it's like, "Lord, not my will, but your will be done." Right. Understanding that this is bigger than me, that this was my purpose, this is my reason for being here. And Lord, your will be done, even though this isn't what I want to do.
Yeah, but he was born to be crucified. That's the whole point.
But that doesn't mean he wants. There's a lot of things that we were born to do too.
Why have you forsaken me is a question, meaning when you look at that question, he's dying, being crucified, and saying, why have you forsaken me? If he knew that he was born to be crucified, he would probably have said something like, oh, this is how it happens, or something to that effect.
But I'm saying,
why is this happening to me?
But he also prayed before he went to the cross and said that if there's another way, let this cup pass me, but if not, let thy will be done. So he still knew what he had to do. Right. But when he was in the moment, you know what I'm saying? Maybe another human moment, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't, for him to ask that question doesn't automatically mean he did not know, especially by the time he got to the cross, because he's already made mentions, even with the disciples and everything. Like he knew he was getting ready to die. He knew the time was coming. Like he knew Judas was going to, betray. Like he knew, Peter, all this stuff. Like he knew this stuff, according to the scripture. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, according to the scripture.
Right.
Which even brings up another point. If I don't know if y'all got anything else with this whole thing, but I do have another question that ties into what we're dealing with right now. And that is, how important is it to not only know scripture, but even know, just say, the deep root of where it came from? Because there's so much controversy behind the Bible. Is this true? Is that true? This contradicts this.
I feel like we're straying from the topic. But.
Well, I am. That's clearly what I said. I don't know if y'all have anything else on this, because the conversation we're having right now, it's a bunch of, we're quoting stuff, but nobody's actually saying this is exactly where it is and this is exactly what it says. We're going off of what we've learned as PKs. But we can't answer this question. Like, we can't. No, you can't. I'm asking the question of how important do you think it is to actually know, especially because of the conversation that we're in right now.
Well, the better question is, did Jesus have a wife? The better question than that is, would it matter if Jesus had a wife? Would that take away something from him? Because if that took away from his miracles, if that took away from his teachings, if that took away, how are we better than any of the priests at the Council of Nicaea? How are we any better than that by saying, oh, just because he had a wife, that means that somehow that makes him more fallible, or he makes his lessons more fallible, or his wisdom more fallible? No, I don't think it does.
I would give my
wife or children changes it.
I'll give my quick 2 cents and I'll let y'all answer or even continue by it. But I never, even the whole time we brought up the whole girlfriend, wife, anything, none of that necessarily ever made me say, well, if this is it, then I'll think of him differently. But I do think that I would want to know if it was like truthful facts. You know what I'm saying? If that is something that is left out for whatever reason, or that's something that I was unaware of, but it was actual truth, I would want to know that, just for the sake of, just like anything else that I've ever learned, about Jesus.
Would it change your opinion?
No, I said it wouldn't. I'm telling you, it wouldn't. It wouldn't make me think. It wouldn't necessarily make me think, look at him crazy because Jesus had a wife. But it would make me wonder, okay, well, why has this been hidden this whole time? And why did he have a wife? Why wasn't he only focused on, compared to like what we've been taught, just his purpose, which was the crucifixion, during the
that would be the politics of man.
So I have a question. So let's talk about where this topic came from the first place. So this topic came from me in that a couple of Easters ago, in the spirit of Easter coming up this Sunday, I attended an United Methodist service that spoke of Jesus having a girlfriend, being Mary Magdalene. I don't think they used the word wife. I'm pretty sure they said girlfriend. And it was new to me. So at this point, I was probably in, 29, 30, growing up in the church. And it was like, wait, what? Jesus had a girlfriend.
There was no girlfriends then.
Okay, right. Well, wife.
There you go.
Girlfriend.
I know, but either way, what you're saying is that church said girlfriend, though.
Right, they said girlfriend. Right. Yes,
they can say it all they want.
He had a partner.
There was 3 kinds of women.
But Terry, hold on, Terry. The point she's making is this is where it came from. So this
is where this topic came from. He had his person, his partner, his significant other, something, which was something growing up, non-denominational, growing up with some Baptist roots, I had never heard. And so it was just absolutely crazy to me. You know, did Jesus have a girlfriend? Did Jesus have a wife? Was Jesus attracted to women? Were women attracted to Jesus? Like, it was just something that in my 30 years of life at that time, like, I hadn't considered. I hadn't thought about even thinking of Jesus in human form or being a human like me. I hadn't thought about it. And so that's kind of where this conversation comes from, because I think it's interesting that, like I said, I've been in church for 30 years. You know, Easter is one of those CME, Christmas, Mother Day, Easter, you know, services that you all go to.
Right.
You know, this is the first time that this has ever been presented. And so that's kind of where this topic came from today. Again, we don't none of us can definitively answer the question. But that's kind of going back to where this conversation came from. If I can find the sermon, I will send it to all.
I think it's a good question, because it just poses the question of overall, once again, just how human was he? Because that's why I was even trying to make the distinction of, was he just in a spirit in a human body, you know, like the spirit of God inside of a human body, or was he literally born and just human like us and just literally finding out stuff like us? You know what I'm saying? Because that's like, you're talking about the son, another part of the Godhead who is responsible for creating the world. You know what I'm saying? So like, when he came into the world, did he first find out what a flower was when he encountered it, or did he know it because he was part of God? You feel what I'm saying? So that's where, and I'm not saying either or, I'm not stating anything, but I'm saying that's where my question was coming from, because that, I think that then helps us to see, well, just how human would he have been? Like, would he have actually had to not only fight out women because they were attracted to him, but he was also attracted back, but just knew he couldn't do it? You know what I'm saying? Or was there never an attraction from him to them? You know what I'm saying? Because he that's just not how he was built. You know, I don't know.
A perfect soul in a human body. That's what it was. In my opinion, at least. It's a perfect soul in a human body.
So, but in perfection, you can be married.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. I mean, even in Catholicism, which, I mean, when we talk about American Christianity, you were talking about, American Baptists. Like, remember, America's only like 240 years old. Catholicism's 2,000 years old. That it was the original Christ-based religion. But even to say that, like, priests used to be allowed to get married. It wasn't until one pope decided they weren't allowed to get married. It used to be that popes could get married. So yeah, there is the last promise from Christ before he left earth to Peter, with the first pope, which was, whatever you hold true in earth, I'll hold true in heaven. So basically, we're the ones deciding, what we believe is holy and what isn't. Now, do I believe that a person can be married but also be, clean in God's eyes? Sure, of course, 100%. I think it's better to be married than it is to be single.
Did Jesus have sex with Mary Magdalene?
If they were married, then yes.
Probably so.
But not if they weren't married. That's why that whole girlfriend thing just doesn't exist, because there was no girlfriends 2,100 years ago. Like, you either got married or you stayed single or you were a prostitute. Those were your three choices as a woman.
So how you know he ain't pay for it?
Huh?
How you know he ain't pay for it?
Because he went to hell and then came back with all the souls of the damned.
No, I'm talking about how you know Jesus ain't paid for Mary Magdalene. They said she was a prostitute.
Because he's a perfect soul. And if you're gonna go
off
the
a prostitute and he was dealing with her, he paid for it. Okay?
No.
He paid for it. He purchased his wife.
No,
with his heart on.
Now you're just being derogatory.
And he's seen Players Club.
If Jesus existed and if he was the Son of God, then no, he didn't pay for it. Now, I like to believe, right?
Yeah, you do know I was being.
I know you're kidding, but you bring up a good point. I like to believe right, that if that story is true, if that theory is true, that he was married to Mary Magdalene, I like to believe that he chose her for a specific reason, because she was a prostitute, and he wanted to show everyone that no one is beyond redemption. No one's beyond redemption. No
Jesus was the first one to turn a hoe into a housewife. That is lit.
Yeah.
Tell me that's not lit.
He's not, though.
Not bad.
Tell me that's not lit. You got to remember about Tamar and I think Hosea.
Oh,
that story. She was
he wasn't the first. He wasn't. But I'm saying, but wait, was she a prostitute before, or did she go out? I thought she just was speaking about it.
According to scripture, when they met, she was a prostitute, and then she gave it up to follow him, which makes a lot of sense. With you talking
about Jesus?
Yes.
No. I'm talking about the story sorry.
I was back on J-Dog.
I would have to do some refresher, but I think she was already sleeping with several men.
Yeah, because I know what story you're talking about, but I wasn't sure the context. I wasn't sure if she was a prostitute, or even if she was it beforehand, before he met her, whatever. But either way, Jesus was in the lineup. If what y'all are saying is true, or what Terry is saying is true, and Jesus married Mary Magdalene and she was a prostitute.
Well, think about it. How did Jesus tell his tales? How did he tell his wisdom? Through parables, right? And what better parable than to take this prostitute street urchin and say, as long as she believeth in him, as long as she gives her life to him, she can be redeemed, she can be saved. If she can be saved, then you can be saved. Isn't that a great parable?
I mean, yeah. So if it's a parable, I mean, he didn't really marry her though. He just used her.
He would have definitely married her if they were together.
As an example, he was like, if I was one of y'all, I would marry this woman.
No, that's not even a question. If they were together, they were married. That's
okay. So real quick consensus. Everybody just give a yay or nay. So Kelly, do you think that Jesus had the significant other?
It's possible.
Okay, Janessa.
I'm not convinced.
She's not convinced. Okay. Hey, Terry, we already know your thoughts.
It's possible. I don't know for sure. But yes, it is possible.
I would say when you go talk to Jesus, talk to God when it's time.
I hope that's a long time. I'm going to ask Jesus himself.
I have a list. Like one of the questions on my list is, God, why did you create roaches?
Well, how about this? Let's say this. Here's a great question. If you get to heaven and get to meet God and only get one question, what's the one question you want to ask him? Or what? Better yet, what do you want to hear God say to you when you get there?
Welcome. Come in. I want to hear
nothing. Just welcome. That's it.
Yeah,
nothing personal.
You can give me the accolades later. I need to make sure I make it through these gates. I don't need no little hiccup. Like,
all right, ladies, save us, ladies, from that terrible
good job,
answer.
But you was on that podcast talking about my son having a hard on. I couldn't take it.
What do you ladies want to hear God say to you?
Low key, I would love something personal like that. Like when Rudy said you was on that podcast talking about, like, I would love him to think of just give me a specific, I can't say the word, specific event in life, and reaffirm me that he has been there. Like I was there, I was with you. Is what I would love to hear. Like, give me a moment where I was struggling. And he was like, yeah, you remember, October 7th at 2:54 p.m. in 2016. Like. I want him to remind me.
You want to hear security. That's what it is. You want to hear, like, I was there with you. I got your back.
I was there. That's what I
like every other woman. You want security. That's why y'all love rich guys, because they got your back.
But what if God tell you, like, you with the good come the bad? Like, if he tell you a good one, he got to tell you a bad one. He was there for it too. Like I saw you when you was with that nigga. I told you.
I didn't say what he was gonna say. I said, what did you want to hear him say? Like, if you had a choice.
You get the compliment. You got to take the criticism. I was there on that good one, but I also
I was proud of you here, but here not so much. I was there.
Because I said, what do you want to hear? Not what you're gonna hear.
We got you.
Which might be different.
Nah, damn.
But no, so to your point, Terry, yes, I want some security. I want the Lord to reaffirm that He has been here with me this entire time. That's what I want.
What about you, Janessa, if your braids are done?
But they cute though. They coming along.
Okay. What do you want to hear God say to you?
Job well done. Come on in. Because I honestly would say, like, that's one of the things. I am nervous. You know, everybody we loosely talk about, like, one day you're gonna have to face God by yourself and you're gonna be held accountable for everything you've done. And I'm just kind of like, man, are we gonna just start from the first thing and just go all the way through life? Like, is it because, you know, I don't think I'm necessarily a bad person, but do I follow the Bible to the T? You know, what about those sins that aren't so obvious? Like, man, are we going to really go through every thought that I had that wasn't right? Because my gosh, I am nervous about that conversation. Or is it going to be more so like, you know,
it's not what you think, it's what you do.
God already knows, and He's gonna just, you know, reflect on key highs and key lows, and then
I feel like I'm the whole visual. You just
like what?
It's gonna be a visual of your life.
I used to think that it's gonna be like a TV,
right?
Are other people gonna see this, or is it just gonna be you and God?
Hey, you gotta get exposed to all the heaven. Like, no, sit down. We're gonna be putting.
All right. What about you, Rudy? What about you, Rudy? What do you want to hear God say when you meet Him?
I know. I answered already. I was serious.
That job well done.
I'm telling you, like,
come on in. That's it.
No, like on a serious note, for me, like I feel like the biggest thing about death is where are we going afterward. That's, you know, everybody's religion or belief or non-belief, all of that is based off of death. Like, what happens when you leave here? What can get you to wherever you want to be when you leave here? Do you go anywhere at all? Whatever like that. So for me, like, it doesn't have to look exactly how whatever the Bible was written, whatever like that. I'm not necessarily hung up on that. I just want to definitely not go to hell. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to get there.
So I
don't want to get anywhere, whether you go to the heaven's gate first and then go, or you go straight to hell gate, whatever the case may be. Like, I don't want to spend eternity in any type of suffering. Is my whole thing. So for me, it's about the access. Like, I don't care about how good of a job you thought I did. If I'm in. Now, if I got to hear the accolades or whatever like that first, I'm fine with that. But I definitely, my last point, I definitely don't want to hear the accolades, but then still get kicked out. You know what I'm saying? That's what I don't want to happen. So let me in first. Let's talk on this side of the door.
If I'm reading your answers correctly, Rudy wants to hear, I'm not going to punish you. Janessa wants to hear, you did a good job. And Kellie is a little bit more muddled, but Kellie wants to hear, you were good enough, essentially. You know?
I was there. Now I want to hear that he was there. I mean, I think it's a given.
Kellie wants the security. You were good enough for me to always be there with you. Janessa wants to hear, you were the best. You know, you did a great job. And Rudy just wants to hear, I'm not going to punish you. All right.
No. That's what I'm saying. Because you can punish me if it's in heaven, though. I'm not worried about that.
He doesn't punish you in heaven.
That's why my whole point is this. My whole point, it's not. He don't even have to say anything as long as I get the access. If I get in, nothing has to be said. We have to understand.
Now, do you want to know my answer?
Yes.
I came up with this when I was 16 years old, and I believed it ever since. Because somebody asked that question to me when I was 16, and I was in the church, and they said, what would you want to hear God say to you if you ever got to meet Him? And I thought about it for a long time, days. I thought about it because I wanted to come up with a good answer, and or at least an answer that I felt like was true to me. And I would want to hear God say, thank you for taking such an interest. Like, thank you for learning about this stuff. Thank you for being interested in it. Thank you for not being self-involved and wanting to know what's better. Like, whether He sends me to hell or not, If he sends me
You know
to
what I'm
hell, then I
saying?
deserve.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't care.
I'm saying if he sends me to hell, I deserve to be there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And if he sends me to heaven, I deserve to be there. But
Sure.
all I can be is me. That's it.
But my whole thing is, that's what I'm saying. But I don't want all that talking just for me to steal. You know what I'm saying? Just for me to steal. If you're gonna send me to hell, just send me.
No, I would like to hear him say at least.
You just want him to be like, you didn't make it.
Right, next.
Right. I don't need to hear none of that if I'm still finna go down there anyway.
Well, think about what I'm saying.
No, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you.
No, I'm saying, think about what I'm saying for 1 second on a deeper level. If he says thank you for taking an interest, that means that not only whether he sends me to hell or heaven, that means I got the appreciation from God. And what is that worth?
If you go to hell, absolutely nothing. All right.
No, I would take hell. I would take hell.
Why? What's going to do with those compliments in hell? That's the thing that's going to make you burn less. Hey, God said I was good, so I got to come down here, but it ain't got to be that bad.
No, it's not even that it's got to be that bad. It's going to be terrible. It'd be horrible for eternity. But that also means that your existence had purpose, and your purpose.
So Terry, what you gonna get? A statue back on Earth because you and God had this conversation?
No, there's something more than that.
Where's the benefit? You saying look at it deeper, but where is the benefit of God giving you an accolade if He then turns around and sends you?
It's not an accolade. It's appreciation. There's a difference between the two.
But I'm saying He's giving you an applause. Is what I'm saying. He's appreciating you.
No.
Yeah, He is.
No. It's not applause. It's not an accolade. It's literally saying thank you for it's I'm grateful that you took an interest in me.
That's an applause.
And what could be better than that? I mean, God takes an interest in every person.
Now let me ask you this, Terry. Does it matter that
out by the creator of the universe?
Does it matter that God created you as to please Him? Like that's what He created you to do, and you did that? I'm just asking.
Say the question again, Janessa.
I was saying, does it influence you that you were created to please God?
Right.
So like you did what He created.
Well, no, I mean, we're getting a little, we're breaking up a little.
No, you are breaking up for sure. Yeah,
right.
It's your Wi-Fi or something. So Janessa, was that question directed towards Terry?
I would ask you a question in return, which is
go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I feel like I'm breaking up a little bit.
No, you are, but we can still hear you. Go ahead. You can answer the question.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, my answer to that would be if somebody took an interest in your whole life, right, and wanted to know you from the very time you were born to the very time you are now, and wanted to understand you and know everything about you, wouldn't that delight you?
Yeah, but I wouldn't punish him for it.
I'm not. It's not about punishment. She said her question was, I was born for God's delight. Well, if I take an interest in God and everything about God, wouldn't that delight Him?
I don't know. I don't know either. If that's how He created you to delight Him, I guess. But I don't know if I can.
I don't know. That's the question that can never be answered. You'll never know what God really wants, but I know the answer to that question, which is that's what I would want to hear Him say is like, thank you for taking such an interest.
Right. And I'm saying I don't think anything is wrong with that, as long as you also get to go to heaven after that compliment. Is all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to try and tell God He's right or wrong. Like if He sends me to hell, I'm not going to be like, you're wrong for this.
Well, it ain't gonna matter. It ain't gonna matter. That ain't gonna matter.
You just got to take your last conversation.
Right. It ain't gonna matter what you say.
No, you got to take your lumps and say, I guess I was wrong. I tried to live the best life I could, but
right. No, listen,
I fucked up.
I'm not trying to stop you at all. I am in full support of you. I'm just saying, but me, I'm just trying to get to them doors. You feel me? That's all it is to it. All right, Kellie, in the midst of your yawn,
I'm sorry.
tell the people where they can find you.
Oh, at the worst ones, PK.
Of course, that's all she has.
At the worst ones, PK. That's where you can find me.
Well, what about the brewery?
That's
Well, hold on, but before we get to the brewery, Kelly, tell them where else they can listen to us. So where can they watch us? Where can they listen to us?
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that podcasts are
YouTube
played, YouTube, the worst ones, all that.
Yeah, on YouTube you can watch us do terrible things.
You can watch Janessa braid her hair.
Yeah, you can watch Janessa do her hair. You can watch Rudy smoke blunts while we talk about Jesus. You know, like
we got 45 minutes in my bedtime.
Gotcha.
No. The worst one's PK.
The worst one's PK. Janessa, go for it.
You can find me at Melanated Brews, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the social media. Yeah, that's it.
All of them.
Facebook.
And then me at Terry Wayne Comedy on all social media platforms. You can check out my local shows. I've got a bunch coming up. I got about a half a dozen shows coming up in April. And not only that, but my other podcast, Blame Girl podcast, every Monday night on Facebook, the Gonzo Radio Network. It just got picked up, and looks like it's actually going to get produced into a real deal kind of thing. But I won't be leaving here. I'll still be doing this every Wednesday night.
Don't leave us, Terry.
I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to leave you. When I commit, I commit.
Loyalty.
But yeah, keep an ear out for Real Fake News, which is going to be our new show that's coming out with some financial backing. And until then, you can check out Blame Girl podcast on the Gonzo Radio Network. Also, my Facebook page every Monday night at 7.
Litty. This was dope, man. This was a great conversation. Great job, Kelly. Great topic. Great. I appreciate everybody's insight. I enjoy talking to you guys each and every week.
I'm sorry, I'm so stubborn.
No. That's the point.
No, I'm hard-headed.
If we were all sitting here agreeing, I would have stopped this 18 episodes ago. So.
We need conflict.
Yeah, I mean, I think that too. Me too. No, we're not doing that. Appreciate you, everybody who's listening, who's watching. Continue to share, continue to like and comment. When you leave comments and you like, it helps the algorithm help us get more notice. So make sure you do that, even if it's a bad comment. Just comment, okay? We'll take it. It doesn't matter. Hey, listen, when you doing a Christian podcast, smoking weed, a bad comment don't come, okay?
Hey, we don't judge around here.
Every time I show some boy, they're like, did he just light a blunt?
I'm telling you, bad compliment. We're definitely doing bad. If you think all we're gonna get is compliments on this podcast, you might as well quit now.
Hey, listen, he's better off lighting a blunt than me lighting this cigarette. So I'll give him that.
Just don't say nothing about my hair, because
I wasn't even gonna bring it up until you said so, honestly.
Next week we'll see the finished product. This week we'll see the next week we'll see the finished product.
I'll show y'all the finished product.
It's done being painted. You got to wait till it's done. So
next
week I'll judge your hairstyle.
Right. You can at least give us a week to to see it. What it look like, Janessa.
No, I'm going to Miami on Friday.
Oh, Miami?
Really?
South Beach still
hit me up while you're down here. I'm only an hour away.
Well, I was supposed to be there longer, but I'm going for my boyfriend's grandfather passed away.
No.
So going to the funeral. I'll be back on Sunday. But I'm trying to get a hairstyle for Miami.
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm doing it. But like, I still have work this week, school, just life still continues. So I'm trying to stay committed, and y'all
this may sound
like you're about to break down right now, Janessa.
Oh,
you sound like you're hanging on by a very thin thread.
I am.
Somebody check on Janessa. Somebody just check on Janessa.
I would give you a word of encouragement, though, Janessa. This may come off as negative, but it's really, really positive. The fact that you are at the point where like you can go to like funerals with your boyfriend. Like that's a good move. Like that shows, you know what I'm saying? That's, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a bad circumstance, but feel where I'm coming from though. Like everybody, you ain't just put them to anybody's funeral. Like so people letting you, you know what I'm saying, come with them. Like that's pretty, you mourning.
No, you're supposed to go. If he's
No, I'm
your
not
boyfriend, you're supposed
what I'm
to be
saying
there.
is if things weren't, if they weren't like that, if things weren't good, I don't think he would let her come, especially they traveling. It ain't like it's there in the same city, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what it
calling
reminds
Rudy
me
for
of?
relationship advice.
I'm saying that's big though. That's I'm giving her
No.
a
I
whole
knew
topic
his
that
family
you
for
just
the first
started,
time.
Say it
It
again.
reminds me of that Chris Rock bit where he says, I pay all my child support. It's like, yeah, you're supposed to. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
that's
you don't get a medal for doing what you're supposed to do.
That's totally different, Terry. Because what I'm saying is,
fine.
I'm saying the level of their relationship is at a point where he's willing to allow, allow that to happen. Because I'm saying if she was just some girl, it wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be no supposed to. It's not as easy to talk for. But go ahead. What you gonna say?
You in there?
Oh no, I was saying I'm meeting his family in person for the first time. I've met, FaceTime.
Gotcha.
How long have you been dating?
In different states, huh?
How long have you been dating?
6 months tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a big step. Okay, never mind. I retract my statements.
That's what I'm saying.
I retract my statements. I thought this was like a long-term boyfriend.
That's what I'm saying. No, man, they doing good.
No, this is a big step. That's a big step. I'll give you that.
He met my family over Thanksgiving. But
he met your family early on. You went ahead. You went and said, "Daddy, I need that spiritual discernment. All in this. Let me know."
Hey, listen, we grown.
30 days in.
We growing out here. And we either you is or you ain't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We ain't got time to play.
6 months, that's nothing. You guys are still having sex face to face. That doesn't mean anything.
Well, speaking of meeting the parents, we are the worst ones. Thank you guys for listening. Until next